Over the past few years, I've worked full-time as a doctor, built a growing side business, trained for a sub 20-minute 5K, and still find time to see my girlfriend, hang with my friends. If you're an ambitious guy in your 20s trying to build something on the side, I'm wondering why you're so drained, stressed out, and unproductive when it's finally time to put that hustle in. You don't need a better planner. You don't need loads of productivity apps. You need to retrain your brain to crave your side hustle so you actually find it enjoyable. Let me show you how I did it and how you can do it too. Here's the thing, productivity is a trap. Somewhere along the line we got sold a lie that being productive means building complicated systems, that motivation is something you find instead of something you train, that you can't build a business unless you wake up at 5 a.m, have cold plunges, live your life on Notion. But honestly, most of that stuff burns you out before you even begin. If you've ever opened your laptop after your 9 to 5, stared at the screen and just shut it again, this is why. Here's what I discovered. You don't need motivation, you need momentum. And that starts with rewiring your brain to associate your side hustle with dopamine. I call it the dopamine anchor method, and it personally changed the game for how I looked at my business and me actually enjoying it and not burning out over it. So what is the dopamine anchor method? Your brain is lazy, but it's also trainable. I used to finish work and feel exhausted. The last thing I wanted to do was more work, until I started pairing my evening deep work block with a few easy dopamine cues. Things like having iced coffee only when I'm working on my business, listening to an album I've wanted to listen to, again only when I'm working on my business, making the experience as fun and as comfortable as possible, wearing a hoodie, same setup every night. I trained my brain to associate these easy, fun dopamine cues with building a business. Eventually I didn't have to force it. I started looking forward to the work. You don't need motivation, you need a ritual, and you need some easy dopamine cues to help you along your way. Stop over planning, start practicing. I wasted months trying to build the perfect system before I realized systems don't build your business, you do. Most guys spend more time planning than doing. So I stopped optimizing and started practicing, putting in the ugly work, the imperfection. Whether that was 10 to 30 minutes every night, even when I was tired, it was about building the momentum, keeping up the action. Even if it was just one meaningful task per evening, writing a post, scripting a video, reaching out to one person. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't huge, but it was consistent, and consistency builds identity. After all, when you show up enough times, you become the sort of guy that shows up, and that's when everything shifts. Here's the trap. You watch videos about productivity on YouTube, build a new system, feel productive, but you haven't moved the needle. You're just reorganizing your life to avoid doing the work. The ugly work, the work you know you should be doing. That's not productivity, that's procrastination dressed in different colors. You were built for meaningful work, finish to build to execute, not to spend 3 hours choosing your to-do list format. This one's not talked about enough. If your brain is foggy, distracted, overwhelmed, none of this works. So I train mine, literally. This is what I've learned. Success isn't about being organized, it's about being effective. Can you sit down and do deep work after a long day of your 9 to 5? Can you focus when it counts and switch off when you're done? That's the real skills, the real actionable, ugly skills. And here's the thing, it's built through repetition, not rearranging your calendar or implementing some other fancy system. Systems don't work if there's no action. So let's simplify. Pair your after work hustle with dopamine cues. Show up consistently, even for short bursts. Train your brain like a muscle through repetition. Drop the obsession with perfect systems and perfection in general. You don't need more tools, you need more reps. So if you've been stuck after work, feeling tired, paralyzed by planning, by perfection, this is your permission slip to stop overcomplicating everything. You're not lazy, you're just stuck in someone else's productivity rules. Strip it all back, keep it simple, make it enjoyable, and start showing up every day like the business owner that you're becoming. Small wins daily, that's how you break through. If this hits home for you, drop in the comments what dopamine anchor you're going to use this week. And if you're building your business or side hustle after hours, I've got lots more coming.